The Rockingham Motor Speedway is a circuit like no other. And why is that, you may ask? Well, to start off with, it goes a different way to most other circuits. It's anti-clockwise, so get used to turning left many times. But the other main difference is the banking. It's fast, really fast. Welcome to the Miltech VW Racing Cup. Last time, Silverstone played host to the opening rounds of the championship. For a quick rundown, here's David Addison.
The opening race at Silverstone had Dennis Stromberg on pole position. As the lights went out, the cars scrabbled away on a wet road. Track conditions were tough, as a few drivers soon found out. Through the spray, it was pole sitter Stromberg who drew first blood. For race two, it was Tom Walker on pole position. And on a drying track, the cars piled into Copse Corner. The battles on track were intense. It's especially for Simon Walton with his Audi TT. The battle at the front was frenetic as the drivers duked it out. For some, though, the heat was a little too intense. At the end of the 20-minute showdown, it was Dennis Stromberg versus Martin Depper for the win, but Stromberg had enough in hand to make it 2 out of 2 in the season opener.
No! We can't do better than that. P1 in everything is what you can do. So yeah, I'm really happy, really.
2 wins out of 2 for Dennis Stromberg, and he leads the championship after Silverstone. Owen Walton is the man doing the chasing, ahead of Chris Paniotto and Matthew Wilson, with newcomer Tony Prendergast 5th and Rory Clark in 6th. The 2018 championship is looking very strong with a number of new contenders, and this year there's a trio of drivers who are old hands in this game, racing with a new team. Russell Joyce explains.
Powermax Racing predominantly is a British touring car team. 3 years ago, Martin Broadhurst had this idea of creating a very lightweight Volkswagen Cup car, which was going to be the Polo. So that was the dream, to move Powermax forward. Now we're looking at expanding into the Volkswagen Championship and bringing on more drivers, and the calibre of drivers is really important to the team. And for me, relatively a rookie, 3 years into it, it's very exciting because I've got so much knowledge behind me now of these guys that when I have a problem I can turn to them and hopefully we can iron out any creases.
And joining in for the rest of the season is young hotshot and runner-up last year, Tom Witts.
Obviously, with learning a new car with the new team, in conditions like this isn't ideal, but we'll work as hard as we can. You know, we haven't got big expectations of this weekend, jumping straight back in, so we'll just see how it goes and develop it through the year. Obviously, with missing rounds 1, it's going to be difficult championship-wise. My aim and the team's aim is to develop the car. If we can be consistently at the front during the year and grab a couple of wins, then that would be fantastic.
The third contender is a multiple champion in the Volkswagen Racing Cup and the current VAG Trophy champion, Paul Taylor.
We've won the VAG and the Volkswagen Cup before, and we're back to try and win it again. The long-term plan is to obviously get on the podium, bring some silverware back. Moving further forward is to win championships, and we're fairly good at that, so we're trying for them.
We are out there to win. As you can see, we're trying different cars out. We've got different cars here and they have different abilities. We are going for podiums, and you know, I'll be surprised if we don't see podiums in the next couple of rounds. You know, we're not afraid of getting it wrong and trying to set up out that no one else has tried before and losing a few places and ending back. It's all about these first few rounds, moving forward, getting traction, and let's see if we can get some podiums towards the end.
It's time for the first race of the day here at Rockingham, and as you can see, the man on pole is Jamie Bond. Tucked in just behind him in P2 is Martin Depper.
Dennis Stromberg lines up on the third row of the grid for this opening race here at Rockingham. He's the championship leader. He's unbeaten this season, having won both races at Silverstone, and we are set to go racing. Jamie Bond is the man on pole. He had mechanical dramas at Silverstone last time out. He makes a decent start here, but so does former touring car racer Martin Depper in the green Sirocco on the run now up towards turn one. Bond on the inside, Depper on the outside. And the Sirocco noses ahead as they turn their way through this long, fast left-hander, but they're going to go three wide, look down towards Dean Hairpin. You're on board with Chris Paniotto as diving up the inside is Toby Davis, and there's mayhem at the first corner. Somebody has gone into the wall very hard indeed. That is not only going to be a potential safety car, but a stoppage. Yes, already there is a red flag being waved down here at Yentwood. And there's the reason. It's Rory Clark that has gone off the road and has done a lot of damage to the car. There are bits all over the road. He's probably a bit shaken as well. Have a look in replay. He would have been in mid-pack. Oh, there's a spin, and he's involved in it, and he ploughs into the concrete. There's another golf look getting involved in all of that. And here, from another angle, let's just see. Yes, the two rub look at the top of the picture, and it's Clark then that gets fired into the wall. A big, big hit. Just trying to identify whose the Golf was in the midst of all of that. It looked like Josh Coggan's car. Restart underway, lights go out. A slow start by poleman Jamie Bond, but a good start being made by Toby Davis. Also moving across is the Chris Paniotto Sirocco, but Martin Depper has the advantage then as they all negotiate turn one safely this time after the dramas that stopped the race. You're on board here in number 4 with Dennis Stromberg, the championship leader then with work to do to pick himself up the order, but he should have the time in which to do that. We're 15 minutes of racing now, not 20 because of the red flag, and it is Martin Depper who leads the way back in the Volkswagen Racing Cup after a few seasons in the British Touring Car Championship. Lots of lessons learned, and Depper leads the pack then here. Dennis Stromberg is way out wide, and he loses place after place there because Paul Taylor gets up the inside, and now Stromberg has a big old lose going up towards Chapman Curve. Can he recover from that? Let's see. Chris Paniotto turns his way through this long left mid-lap. Speed building, short straight, and then you've got the left at Gracelands, down towards the Tarzan hairpin. Chris Paniotto, former Clio racer, former GT racer, comes down to the hairpin. Martin Depper is under attack. Look, Jamie Bond tries one side and then the other. Can he go all the way around the outside? Toby Davis runs third and Bond off the road. Suddenly the car snaps away. Round it goes. He avoids the gravel. Now, was there contact between the two? Let's see as the cars get back towards us then. Down now towards the chicane at Brook. Jamie Bond has recovered, but he's got a lot of work to do. He's lost a whole heap of ground as they're elbowing up on the inside. Look to try and gain ground is Mark Wakefield, the former mini racer. Right, Depper on the inside, Bond on the outside. No, it's all self-induced. He just carried too much speed into the corner, tried to hang on to it, and then suddenly it breaks. Round it goes. Toby Davis then under attack from Chris Paniotto, and if they squabble like this, they're going to gift wrap Martin Depper the race lead. Depper trying to break away. Somebody else in strife, that's Russell Joyce, isn't it? Who was at the back of the grid, and he's gone off at Brook by the look of it, and the circuit littered now with bits of car. Russell Joyce, hopefully, will be able to get the Golf going again. Yes, he has done there, look, but that looks decidedly dog-eared around the front. How did he get there? It was down at Dean, apologies, not Brook, and he was rather shoulder-charged into that because diving up the inside was Tony Prendergast. Takes bodywork off the front. Meantime, Chris Paniotto versus Toby Davis. This is for second place. Depper leading ahead in the green Sirocco. Paniotto through on the inside, picks up second spot, now goes off in pursuit of Depper. It's 5 really for the race lead because the next pair joining in, Ethan Hamilton, the junior saloon car race, and he in turn is dragging along with him. Look, Paul Taylor. Taylor knows exactly how to win in this championship. He has been winning races in Volkswagens for many, many seasons now. But Martin Depper, the race leader, is starting perhaps to be a bit more vulnerable now. Chris Paniotto is hunting him down, and he's taking Toby Davis with him for company. Out of Gracelands they come then now down towards Tarzan. Into the braking zone, through that right-hander, and now onto the power once again. Depper led early on, still leads, but by a reduced margin, and so he can't get away. It looks as though his Sirocco is starting to lose pace. Chris Paniotto up to the outside, levels with him. Depper hangs on to the advantage, but this is going to be a very, very long run to the checkered flag now for Depper to try and hang on to the race lead. He's got all of these other cars stacked up behind him. Now, Martin Depper is no slouch, very experienced saloon car racer these days, but life is not going to be easy for him. Chris Paniotto gets a tow through turn 1. Clock ticking on down. Can they squeeze this lap and one more into the race? Let's see. Up towards Dean. It is Depper in the lead of the race. Davis third, also looking a bit menacing as Depper locks up. Oh no! Scrabbles out wide at turn 1, and Martin Depper's world has just changed as he goes through the water splash back onto the circuit, and he tumbles down the field. Oh, Martin. And another spin as he rejoins. Just about hangs on to it, but with dirty tyres, the car almost got away a second time. Here's the replay, look. He brakes as late as he dares for the Dean hairpin, locks up, can't turn, goes off the road, bounces onto the grass, takes his foot off the brake, goes through that little water splash, back onto the tarmac, and then in his zealotry nearly lost it again. So, Chris Paniotto lead, but with damage, and up the inside and more contact. Toby Davis goes through. Ethan Hamilton, having the race of his life here, is about to try to go for second place as well. Paniotto gets put onto the graph, that dislodges all the bodywork. And the Sirocco, the new lightweight model, shedding bodywork with every corner, battles on, and he's back up into second place somehow. There is Ethan Hamilton then, running in third spot, turning his way through the right at Chapman Curve. And this, I think, is what might have dislodged the front of Paniotto's car, just that rub with Martin Depper earlier on in the race. Up to the checkered flag then. It is going to be Toby Davis to score a win. What's left of Chris Paniotto's car for second at the end of a bruising round 3 of the Volkswagen Racing Cup, won by Toby Davis. Second goes to Chris Paniotto, and third, Ethan Hamilton. A great drive by him. Now, what about the championship leader? Dennis Stromberg has struggled, and he's down in 7th place with the car seemingly lacking pace. Action all the way, as you kind of expect really from the Volkswagen Racing Cup. Toby Davis, the race winner from Chris Paniotto, then Ethan Hamilton. Paul Taylor off the podium, 4th from Jamie Bond and Mark Wakefield. Championship leader Stromberg 7th, Martin Depper 9th.
I'm absolutely over the moon, honestly. The team have done a wicked job over the winter to put the car back together and rebuild it, improve it. It's now in a wicked condition, and to show them what I can do in that car is fantastic.
Struggled through the chicane, ripped the front bumper off, so going into Tarzan, the hairpin, it went underneath the car, so locked up. So I was, and I think I was dragging it around for a couple of laps. But once we got rid of that, it was just about points really. So I'm happy with the podium, and I think we're on for a good one next one.
I knew I had a gap behind me, and I was going to try and push for second place, but I thought I'll just sit in third. I'll take a podium all day long, my second weekend. So no, it's been good.
And there's another race still to come right after the break.
It's time for the second race here at Rockingham, and a couple of things to tell you about. First up, it is a top 6 reverse grid. So the man who finished 6th now starts pole. That is Mark Wakefield. So the man who finished 5th starts P2. That's Jamie Bond. The other thing to tell you, it's just started to rain and it's a little greasy. That could play a part.
Expect action. We always have it in the Volkswagen Racing Cup, and if the road is greasy, there's more coming up. Dennis Stromberg then needs points out of this race after a disappointing race 1. The lights on the gantry are red. The 1x1 staggered grid all lined up, ready to go. We go racing, and from pole position, it is Mark Wakefield who bolts away, being chased by Paul Taylor, number 2 up the inside. On the outside is Jamie Bond. Taylor tries to make it 3 wide as he ducks down low, and he does go ahead of Wakefield, but into the lead of the race it is going to be Jamie Bond and Toby Davis, the race 1 winner from 6th on the grid on the outside line. Look, in the blue and white car, Wakefield joins that lead battle. Martin Depper in the green Sirocco sees a really sideways Golf rotate ahead of him as Tom Walker gets all sideways and just hang on to it. 2 corners in, our first spinner. So, Mark Wakefield up alongside Chris Paniotto, Martin Depper's green Sirocco next up as the leader tries to break away now. Depper through on the inside of Mark Wakefield, the former karter and mini racer. Another very handy peddler is Wakefield. Chris Paniotto up ahead of the pair of them. After his big slide, there is Tom Walker trying to fight back. He's around the outside of Ethan Hamilton in 23. So the Golf Club getting ahead of the Audi TT there, you can see, as they accelerate up towards Gracelands for the first time. The opening race was a very lively affair indeed. Let's see what happens this time around. Replay of the start. This is Dean Hairpin, lap 1. Paul Taylor on the inside, a sideways Tom Walker running wide, gets the rear wheels onto the dirt, loses the back, and just by nailing his foot to the boards, pulls the front of the car round. Chris Paniotto, number 29, there in the rather taped-up Sirocco. He lost all of that front bodywork in race 1. But here he's fending off Mark Wakefield as they drop towards the Tarzan hairpin. Wakefield now pulls up to the outside line, looking to see whether he can make the move there. Wide in, tight out, sells Paniotto a dummy, and off he goes. Paniotto understeers himself not only out wide but off the road. So through goes Wakefield, through goes Depper. Replay of Chris Paniotto, brakes so late, can't slow the car down, drifts out wide and loses place after place. Mark Wakefield, the Northwich bricklayer, goes through. And there Paul Taylor through on the inside of Ethan Hamilton as they turn their way out of the right-hander of Yentwood. The recovering Tom Walker, look, he's in the mix as well here. There is Simon Walton with his Audi TT, and he's busy fending off Ethan Hamilton, who moves up to this championship for the first time. He's come from the Junior Saloon Car Championship, so it's his first season in the Volkswagen Racing Cup. Ahead of them, though, getting away a little bit, Dennis Stromberg, number 4. Whoops, that's Walton off the road and a big hit into the barriers. That has done the front of the car no good. It's done the barrier no good either. Others scatter in avoidance. And Simon Walton, all of a sudden, just seemed to turn sharp left. Marshall quickly there to try and help. The door is open, but Simon Walton, no doubt a bit winded, to say the very least, after all of that. Did he get a tap from behind? Well, he's okay, clambers out of the car, or did something break? The car just suddenly snapped away, and so Simon Walton off the road, out of the race, as there through goes 34 then, the race-leading Golf in the hands of Toby Davis. Let's have another look and see. No, it was just Simon Walton going wide, wasn't it? The car hooks a wheel onto the grass, round comes the back, and just head on into the barrier with hardly any retardation whatsoever. So the car strong, does its job. The safety elements inside help as well. And there's another spinner, that's Tom Walker. He had one go earlier, he's got the job done good and proper this time. So Tom Walker rotates, and also by the look of it, Paul Taylor has had a moment. There must be some liquid down from the Walton accident, because they're just skating off the road. 2, 3 off, including now Owen Walton's Audi TT, 2 more in the gravel. And yes, the slippery surface flag is there, but it's kind of too late, really, because we've lost 5 more cars into the gravel bed on the outside of Gracelands. The safety car is deployed, and a red flag is used as well to stop the race, because the circuit needs treating. And let's try and have a look at how it all came about. So there, look, getting away, Paul Taylor and Tom Walker, they've just hit the slippery liquid on the road. And here are the next lot, ploughing off the road. Ethan Hamilton, I think, is 1. Owen Walton's Audi goes off. Another spinner is number 5, Tony Prendergast. And they just keep ploughing off as there's no grip on that slippery road. So, restart about to get underway. Let's see what happens this time around. It's Toby Davis then leading at the time of the stoppage. He's on pole, Mark Wakefield with him at the front row, but they're split by Martin Depper off the line. On board with Tom Witts, Paul Taylor ahead, remember, who was off the road. That red flag has been a bit of a help to him because he can fight back in this part 2, from which you get the result, and their contact, because the leader, Toby Davis, gets turned around by the Sirocco that was tucked up behind him. Davis will be back on track. Now, was that Dennis Stromberg Sirocco that got into the back of him? I think it was. Davis recovers. Dennis Stromberg, number 4, there he is. Gains ground, but I would not be at all surprised if the race officials didn't want to look at that. Chris Paniotto off the road and back on again, just ahead of Tom Witts. Ahead of the pair of them is Paul Taylor. So drama right from the start, as you'd come to expect in the Volkswagen Racing Cup. And the officials will be looking at all of these incidents because there have been a lot of them over the course of not yet 20 minutes of racing. Witts coming up now towards the left-hander at Gracelands. Ahead of him is Chris Paniotto. Ahead of him in 77 is Tom Walker. And a replay here. Have a look at Dennis Stromberg. He's got the momentum, but there just isn't a gap. He gets into the back of Toby Davis's car, which was turned half sideways onto the grass. Replay from Stromberg's point of view. Now, does this do him any more favours? Let's have a look. Up through the gears, goes to the inside line. Depper ahead of Wakefield. Stromberg ahead of Wakefield. And Dennis Stromberg is quicker into turn 1. He gets a tow as well, being dragged along by Toby Davis. But no, he didn't even go for a gap, did he? He just got into the back of Davis's Golf, and that impact enough to turn the blue and white Golf onto the grass on the inside. So Dennis Stromberg, I'm afraid, looks like he's got a case to answer that. And he's not normally a driver that does things like that either. Dennis, we saw in the BTCC last year, he's been a regular in these races, on and off for 3 or 4 seasons now, with lots of success. But whatever result he gets here, there might be a penalty. Let's see. Tom Walker up the inside of Paul Taylor. 77 is Walker, the white Golf is Taylor, and the recovering Toby Davis is next in the queue. They're going to squeeze one more lap out of this restart, looking at the clock as they come across the timing line now. So Martin Depper, who was excluded for a yellow flag infringement at Silverstone, is the man leading the race. Davis dives up the inside there of Walker. Toby Davis at the blue and white Golf goes through, picks up 6th place rather. And let's see as they come now in towards the left at Dean. Chris Pagnotu going ahead of Mark Wakefield, and Dennis Stromberg follows suit. So Stromberg, who's on endurance duty next week in the European GT4 Series at Brands Hatch, a very different kind of racing, moves through, gains a place. There is Davis, fending off Taylor, fending off Walker as they make the run along the short straight up towards Chapman Curve. On the outside line goes Paul Taylor, but he can't find a way by. Taylor in the Power Max racing car, and a punctured tyre puts Mark Wakefield all the way around. The team hard car spins, and that, I'm afraid, if he can limp to the end, is going to mean a very, very low result after lots of promise. Look, the tyre off the rim, it sits itself down on the right rear corner, and despite the ability of Mark Wakefield, there's nothing he can do to save that. All he can now do is try and limp to the line. Checkered flag at the ready. It is going to be a win for Martin Depper. 3 different winners out of 4 races. Depper wins at Rockingham. Second is going to be Chris Pagnotu. And third across the timing line, it is Dennis Stromberg, who is very happy indeed with a podium finish. So there, Martin Depper, race winner, and he wins in the end by over 4 seconds. However, Dennis Stromberg disqualified for not driving in a manner compatible with general safety. That promotes Toby Davis to third behind Chris Pagnotu, and Martin Depper the winner.
It's been a weekend of 2 differences, really. Unfortunate set of circumstances with a load of oil on the track. Caught a lot of us out, really tricky conditions. But then on the restart, yeah, it's all come good, and I held it to the end.
It was a lot more aggressive, the racing, as I anticipated, but it was just head down, really, just try and score points, you know. Just try and maintain some points in the championship, because it's such a long championship. We're not going to win it in the first weekend or second weekend, you know. So yeah, but it was good. It was good. Nice to have a teammate up on the podium as well. But Maximum have done a fantastic job this weekend. Really pleased.
Leaving Rockingham, it is Chris Pagnotu who leads the championship. Toby Davis and Dennis Stromberg tied on second. Martin Depper is 5th, and it's Josh Coggan in 6th. The next stop for the championship will be Snetterton in Norfolk at the end of May.